Okay, here we are now with our third in our series as far as sales and mental health. Actually, let's talk a little bit about my favorite three R's, right? Rejection, resilience, and the recovery game. Rejection, right? I mean, it's a constant in sales. If you think about it, if you put 10 proposals out there, if you win 2 or 3, you're a high performer within your team, right? So how do you build that real resilience and help reps recover faster? And also my biggest fear is, protecting your confidence because at the end of the day, people buy from confident people. And if your confidence starts getting chipped away, it's going to come through no matter how much you think you're a master of disguise. So, keeping that momentum and that high rejection cycle can be a challenge. So, what do you suggest on how do you handle losses? How do you handle when a client completely ghosts you?
Well, one of the things that you just said is really important, Anna, and that's coming back to reality, right? So we can do a really good job of separating ourselves from reality and forgetting what the average is and what you just shared. I mean, that percentage of wins to effort is pretty low. And that's a big win. So again, it can be easy when we're in this place of rejection or failure, disappointment, all of those things to make it about us and to say, I'm terrible. I'm the worst salesperson. Why am I even in this role? Why did I think I could do this? Like all of this doom and gloom, but to kind of bring it back to humanity and go, this isn't me. This is the role. This is what it means to be in sales can be really helpful. Even more powerful is having somebody like your leader being able to reiterate that. Like we all know it, but in those moments of rejection and failure, it's just pretty automatic for, again, our brains to go, you suck. You're terrible. It's because of you. Why did you even think you could do this? And so having somebody around us, our colleagues, our leaders who can remind us like this is just part of what happens in this process. The second thing that's really important is to not discount and not try to kind of numb away those emotions that pop up when we do experience rejection or failure. There's a temptation because they're kind of uncomfortable to shove it away, to sweep it under the rug, whatever, whatever phrase you want to give to it. And sometimes we have to for, the purpose of like moving on with the day. We might have an important meeting or somebody's calling us and we can't be sitting there in our big feels. So compartmentalizing is okay as long as it's not avoiding. And you're going to know the difference because compartmentalizing means I'm going to do what I need to do to kind of move forward in my day. I'm going to put these emotions aside, maybe even write them down, like that tip that you gave earlier. But I'm going to come back to them to give them the space and the attention that they need. Because at the end of the day, our feelings exist to be felt. And they're like nagging toddlers. Like if they're not getting what they need to be felt, they're going to pop up again. And they're going to pop up at a really inconvenient time, usually. So compartmentalizing means we're setting aside and coming back to. Whereas avoiding is that we're just shoving them away in the hopes that they go away, but they don't. And when we give those emotions the space and time to be felt, to breathe, then they're like, okay, you felt me and now I'm going to allow you to go forward versus when we try to stuff them, they keep popping up like, hello, did you see me? Are you going to pay attention to me? Can I get some of your attention? And so it can feel really uncomfortable. But I was actually just having a conversation with somebody yesterday, a salesperson who had a big, big loss. And she had been working on this potential client for a long time, put a lot of time and energy into it. Was really, she had gotten to the point where she really enjoyed working with them. And so now she's excited about having them as a client. And then there was this big loss, and she had a lot of feelings about it, and she was just giving herself what she needed. She kind of took a little time in the afternoon to just process by herself. She didn't make that wrong. She gave herself like permission to do that. She wasn't like, I should suck it up and get over it. And to your point, like leadership plays a big role in this, because what we as leaders allow and what we bring into the room, so to speak, is what's allowed, and what we keep out of the room is what's not allowed. We set the precedents for what people can and can't talk about. So for leaders, if you're able to talk about these difficult experiences of loss and rejection, you're going to give your team that permission that they need to be able to talk about the difficult feelings.
I love that, Ashley, because it makes me think of a couple of examples. I had one situation, actually two different, kind of extremes, where I had a salesperson who lost a big deal, similar to the story that you just shared, and was so crushed in being able to tell me as their manager, and I could see that they wanted to literally cry. And I just, I said, come on in, come on in, sit down. I said, if you want to cry, go ahead and cry. I said, honestly, I feel like crying because I know how hard you worked on that. And the fact that I gave this individual permission, it literally made them cry on the spot, but then they, like Ted Lasso always says, like, "Be a guppy." They literally kind of picked themselves back up, and they were like, "You know what? I feel so much better. I just needed to kinda get it out there. Thank you for being understanding." And then they went off to, other opportunities and closed and did what they needed to do. I've had other people come in and pretend like it's not a big deal. And then you sit there and you say, "Really? You're not upset? I'm upset. Like, you worked really, really hard on it. Like, how could you not, be upset?" And then they, like I'm chipping away at this hard exterior because they felt that they had to put on this persona that it's okay, it's part of the job. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. I'm going to go off to the next one. I'm like, no, you proper mourning of something you lost is okay. So if you need a day, if you need 2 days, 3 days, take it, and then we move on and we go work on something else. But I agree with you, compartmentalize, but don't shove it in a corner.
Yeah, yeah, and I love those examples, Anna. There's such great evidence of, and I love how you talked about, you know, after that person cried, and it's not always gonna be tears, but maybe it is gonna be tears, and after that, they were able to go, "Oh, okay, like, that's what I needed," and I think we can all relate to that at some point in our lives where we're able to just kind of have that release, feel the feeling, and then that gives us the return to momentum, if you will, versus it takes a lot of energy to hang on to those feelings and pretend like they don't exist, and kind of try to overcome them, rather than feeling them. So such great examples from a leadership standpoint of how we create that space. And I just want to note too, like, the importance of leaders doing their own work around their, we would call it like emotional stamina, your ability to be with a wide scope of emotions, because somebody might come in really sad and weepy, somebody might come in angry, somebody might come in, afraid of what's going to happen because there was this big loss. But um, we as leaders need to make sure that we have a pretty wide scope of stamina with emotions, because if I can't be with that tears, let's say, like, what am I going to do as a leader? I'm going to shut it down. I'm not going to go, "Oh, I can see some tears. Like, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad." Like, I'm going to go, "All right, so what else do you have on your list?" And I'm going to go to the tactical, right? So leaders need to really be making sure that they're doing their own, kind of internal work, so that they have the capacity, their own emotional capacity, to do exactly what you did.
Well, thank you, Ashley. And actually, I think the valuable message here is it's okay to cry in sales.
It's okay to cry in life. Yes.
Yes, thank you.